Tyler, greetings.
Hello.
Welcome. Tyler from Newsletter Glue. If you don't know, and you're running newsletters, he's your man.
All right.
Newsletter Glue.
Thank you.
I'm Pete Erickson, Leaky Paywall, subscription software. If you're listening to this, you might or might not know that. But today, we're actually going to talk about churn mitigation, subscriber churn loss. And it combines what Tyler is doing with newsletters with your subscription system.
Welcome to the Paywall Podcast, where we discuss paywalls and paywall strategies for news and magazine publishers. This episode of the Paywall Podcast is brought to you by Leaky Paywall. Leaky Paywall is the most flexible WordPress subscription platform. Find out more at leakypaywall.com. And now for today's episode.
Did you know, Tyler, that a publisher with a 10% monthly churn loses how many percent of subscribers in a year? Quick guess. 10% of churn per month. How many subscribers are gone in a year?
Oh my God. Probably a lot.
Correct. Pick a number.
I don't know. 10%?
How about 70%?
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So if it runs 10%, 10%, 10% over 12 times, you've lost 70% of your subscriber base.
Oh dear.
Which is nuts, right?
That's a lot.
Yeah. At 3%, a third of your subscribers are gone. Right. Yeah.
Oh.
Claude did the math on this. I didn't do the math. So, but anyway,
Claude's very certain.
I thought it was crazy. Yeah. No, it's correct. It's correct. And you may know that retaining a subscriber costs a fraction of acquiring one, but publishers spend a lot of time on acquisition and kind of forget about churn reduction. And then the other data point I came across in my research was about 20 to 40% of all churn happens what they call involuntarily. That's failed payments, right? Declined credit cards, expired credit cards, whatever it is. It's like, I didn't want to cancel the subscription, but it just failed. The card failed. So you got to deal with that.
Right.
Okay. So here's where we cross paths. Newsletter engagement is one of the strongest predictors of retention. Subscribers who regularly open newsletters are about twice more likely to be subscribed in 12 months. About 2 times more likely. That came from a retention check benchmark. So newsletter engagement being so incredibly important for, let's just focus on retention, right? I know you and I talked a little bit about something that maybe 1 or 2 of publishers you have worked with has not been doing. I'd love for you to talk a little bit about what happened to that publisher that has not been doing something.
Yeah. So I'm not going to disclose the publisher, but let's just say that the publisher grew for many years.
Okay.
Compounded growth, low churn.
Okay.
For the most part.
Okay. How many years of that would you say? Roughly?
I would say at least 6 years.
Okay.
Overall growth, maybe a little bit less.
Okay.
But then things plateaued. And there was sort of there's a number of factors that could have been. It could have been raising prices way too high or not enough local coverage or never ever having ever sent a newsletter before.
What?
Right.
Wait, so in almost 6 years, what you're saying is this publisher never sent a newsletter?
Never.
Not one time?
Never sent a newsletter to their audience, to my knowledge. Ever.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't even think they've ever sent one as like, we're making this change. Or to my knowledge, they've never sent a mass email to their audience.
That's wild. Okay.
Yeah. And this audience is pretty large. You know, it's a pretty large subscription base. Okay. At least it was.
Okay. All right. Sounds like there's a cliff coming after the plateau.
Yeah, so that's where things start to slide. It's not overnight, but there is attrition in subscription, holding subscribers, and so churn starts to creep in, and it just continues down this slippery slope. And it's like starts to free fall a bit, and again, you can look at many factors. You can look at whether it's the local content. Are they not covering enough local content that people want? Is the price not right? Is like do they not have enough staff? I don't know you can pinpoint a number of things, but one thing that really sticks out in all of that is not sending a single newsletter going out to the audience ever, and never even trying to get the free people who have signed up to become. That's a different story. That's on acquiring, but not even trying to keep the ones that have been customers for years who are starting to churn.
That's a little insane. I mean, I've run into publishers that I can remember one publisher, a smaller publisher, that was not sending anything. I've run into quite a bit of like more in the sort of the legacy magazine or like deep niche, and they'll send out one a month, something like that. And there's like, that's an emergency in my eyes right there. So not sending out a newsletter for 6 years for a publication that has a let's call it a larger subscriber base.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like a big surprise that their subscriptions are dropping.
Yeah.
And I have some data points too, if you want to hear them. I was doing some looking around. So subscribers who open newsletters 3 or more times a week, they get retained at much higher rates. And essentially the data, what I was reading is like email really is the primary retention channel.
Yeah.
And that's it. So it was a ResearchGate study. They studied about 16,000 new subscribers, and the onboarding that they had, the email onboarding, was improved their engagement and their subscription duration. So they found those two things were correlated. If you look, Portugal has a publisher called Publico, I think it's pronounced that. And what they do is they look at their insights, and they look at lower engaged subscribers, and they have an automation where they send out basically like a drip campaign to anybody who's on the sort of lower engaged, they call it lower activity side, and to pull them back before they churn. And that's worked for them. And so it's I mean, I'm not a super expert in churn, but I've learned a fair amount. I've seen a fair amount. And I mean, essentially what's happening with this publisher that you're talking about is they're like invisible essentially between the website visits. So, and like today with brand being so important, and you want to get your brand in front of people as much as possible, the brand only shows up when their reader decides, oh, I should go check on something, or I happen to do a search on something and landed on the article or whatever. And maybe that's a few times a month instead of 50 times a month.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah, it just makes things extremely difficult for the publisher to generate traffic. And I should also say traffic has also, I think during that time period has declined as well. So I mean, all of these things sort of start happening together.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to recover from that if you don't have emails going out ever. I mean, even just having emails go out to people automatically, any smoke signal, something to keep engagement would be an improvement here. But yeah, so it's ever more important too with AI and other, new technologies that are making it difficult to be seen. So
yeah, you mentioned traffic, and that's a big one, and that's not part of this podcast, but what we see with the proper email newsletter setup is traffic goes up. Yeah. Like the as a publisher, you're sending the email out. People are clicking on the links. They're going back to the website. They may even read a second article while they're there. And if it's news, then it's probably daily. That's a lot of traffic back. If it's magazine or niche, that's probably 2 or 3 times a week sending traffic back. And it's sort of the cornerstone of success today. And I'll pitch. So I just released a study. It's the AI Publisher's Survival Guide. It's on publisherrevenue.com. Go there. You can grab it for free. It's there's an executive summary, so you don't have to read the whole thing. It's 65 pages. But we looked across all hundreds of our publishers and what they were doing to build subscriptions. And this one's really focused on growing your audience and growing your traffic is kind of the primary focus of this study. And so, yeah, the email newsletter, very important.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me, so I got like 6 things here you can do to improve churn. So should we go through them?
Yeah.
Okay. So 2 of these are both our publishers, and they're for 2 different publisher types. So one is like the niche publisher, like a magazine, fishing magazine or lifestyle or whatever it is. Or maybe just a digital niche publisher and some deep evergreen content kind of niche. And then there's the news publisher, so the ones that I know you spend a lot of time with, and that are sending out daily newsletters. But the niche publisher, the approach is, and we did a podcast on the Moss Report. You can listen to that. So Moss Report deals with cancer survival, with holistic medicine and that sort of related topic. And what Ben did there is he put together an 18 email drip series. So if you register for free on the site, themossreport.com, you'll get over 30, 60 days. I forget exactly what it is. You'll get 18 emails that essentially kind of put together like a package, I don't want to call it a survival package, but it's a package of content to help someone who's struggling with cancer. And so he's what he's essentially doing is he's teaching a series. It's like a course, right?
He's onboarding you to their publication.
Yeah, exactly. And it's all free, and it's just that's the course. So if you're in a niche and you're listening to this, think about that. Think about what can you package together as like a mini course or some series to really get people hooked into your publication, and it's all delivered through email over a drip series. Wall Street Journal, I was looking at what the Wall Street Journal was doing. They target 100 days of engagement.
Right.
Yeah. So they're not sending you an email every day for 100 days, but you're talking 3 to 4 months of emails kind of dripping out and teasing you into reading some of the evergreen stuff that they have and new stuff they have and all sorts of. But it's 100 days, so it's and it works for them. So that's. So that's kind of the niche approach. Think about putting a package together. Of course, put the free registration up, get people into that drip series, and then of course you can upsell your paid plan in every single email that you send out.
Yes.
The second one is the news publisher, and this one you probably know a little bit more about this than I do. But this is really about building a habit, and it's not a course, but what you're creating is a routine. So the routine is like getting the morning news, right? So at 7 a.m., like you're going to get this and you're going to catch up and whatnot. And what's funny is like I subscribe to a local newsletter that changed from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Yeah, just I don't know. One day I just didn't find it in my inbox.
Uh-oh.
Seriously, and I was like, "What is happening?"
Yeah.
And then I realized it was 9 a.m. and I was like, wait a second, 9 a.m. Like I'm in meetings. Like
right.
I'm working.
Coffee's already been halfway gone.
I'm way past 2 cups of coffee. Like, So anyway, So if you're in the news, then it's really about, you have a little bit easier because you are sending every day, right? So you get to send that newsletter every day. But you should look at a drip series that promotes the kind of content that you have, like the columns that you focus on, sports or politics or business or whatever, why they're great, and maybe who the reporters are. Mission is an important one, right? I think you talk about that, like bringing the mission forward for the news. And if you're in a community, we talk about, it's like Salem Reporter, like super mission based. Absolutely, like, hey, we're here to support. We're going to make your life better. We're covering all the nonsense shenanigans going on in business and politics, and we need your support. And right, they get it, right? Like people donate and subscribe and all the money things, right?
Yeah. And drip campaigns are a part of that, of that strategy, right? So they're not only are they sending 2 daily emails, but they're also dripping out a campaign that acclimates you to what their mission is, who they are, and adding photos of their team and things like that, so who your local news team is, right? So yeah, exactly.
And then the last thing I'll say is personalization. So when if you cover politics and business and sports and those things, have those as opt-in categories, right? So like Mexico News Daily, they cover they're the largest English-speaking news site for Mexico, and so they cover, I think it's 5 or 7 different regions of Mexico. I should know this, but I don't. And so you can opt into like the region that you want the news from, and then that gets automated and just gets kicked out once there's a new article for that region.
Yeah.
And that has the highest engagement rate, because it's like, oh, I live here. I want to know everything that's going on in this region. So it's personalized.
Yeah. And I think publishers often freak out about that. It's like, we don't have enough content to do that kind of thing. And, Mexico, for example, I'm sure they're not sending out 15 articles for this one region. It might be 1 or 2 or 3 things, right? So if you don't have a lot of content and you're a local news operation, it's okay if the newsletter has 1 single article. People love that.
That's right.
They just want to hear from you. And they're happy even when it's just a single article. And I tell publishers all the time, you don't have to have this ginormous newsletter, because the truth is people aren't looking through the whole thing anyway. And
that's right.
So just, and if you do have 3 or 4 stories, don't be afraid to send stuff over, because just because you sent it once doesn't mean your whole list opened it, and it doesn't mean they clicked on it. So it's okay to do that.
Yeah, that's right. There's the 20-minute time rule. So on average, and that this was a few years ago, it might even be less now, but on average, you have maximum 20 minutes of attention span if somebody decides to read something in your newsletter. That means an article, browse for a few more, and they're done. That's like you get 20 articles in a newsletter. It's hard to swallow.
Yeah, it turns into a social media feed, and you don't want that. You want it to be like clear and like what you want them to look at. So.
Yeah, less articles, higher quality articles is a recurring theme that I hear about now. That publishers that have scaled back the quantity of content. It's because before it was a little bit of an SEO race.
Yeah.
And then now SEO is falling off a cliff, and so now it's a quality race. Okay, all right. So that's the sort of the onboarding stuff. Okay, the second thing I want to talk about is behavior. So learning what your subscribers are doing, the insights, and there are a lot of publishers do this. And I just mentioned one before, but looking at what your readers are doing and when your paid subscribers are going quiet, you want to nudge them with a campaign, right? Guardian does this. Economist, you name it. These big guys are all doing this. I'm sure Wall Street Journal's got a million email campaign to try to.
Can only imagine.
Yeah. But like, I'm just going to show our insights real quick. So one of the things that we track is like, hey, we got 9 paid subscribers going quiet, right? So we track over a period of time where paid subscribers, are in the system and they're just not looking at content. So, and then we have an offer engine that we've already started building that's coming, which will allow publishers to kick off those automated campaigns. But you can literally go and grab those now. But this number, and I look at a lot of data. This number can get high. You get. I looked at one earlier today. I was like, there were 99 readers that were going quiet, and it's not a super huge publisher. So for them, that was like, hey, this would be good to start kicking off. And this actually happened to be a niche publisher. It's like kick off a nice evergreen series of content that they probably haven't seen. And that's another thing that's important is you have to remember most people haven't seen most of your content, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, people aren't looking as much as you are at the publisher. Like,
no way.
They're seeing a small fraction of what you published.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah. You're sending stuff out. If you're lucky, they're reading 10% of it, 5% of it. I don't know. Archives are more valuable. Archive content, if it still is valid, evergreen, is more valuable than fresh content. What we have seen, it's crazy.
Yeah,
the engagement.
especially with like enterprise, like attorneys and law offices and stuff. They I've seen from time to time publishers, get requests, and if they have content that goes way back, then lock it down.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's a trick. That's a conversion trick, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next thing, I'm not going to dwell on insights too much here, but the next thing is fixing the involuntary churn, and that's something Stripe does really, really well. There's I'm going to talk about Stripe payments just because it's dominant and it's the best in the business. But there are solutions that are running what they call the payment intent. It means that the platform is charging in Stripe. It's like in charge of charging, and it's in charge of churn. So if something fails, that platform has to figure out how to get that card charged. But Stripe has runs their own subscriptions, payment intents, and which is how we connect. We let Stripe run all the payment intents because Stripe is the best at churn reduction. So we've seen firsthand going from a platform that's running payment intents, migrating into Stripe with us, and then having churn drop 40% right out of the gate. It's just insane how good Stripe is at managing those failed credit cards. And they got the AI. They're monster. This is what all they do, right? They are motivated to get these charges running. So they get card updates. They retry different times during the day. I've seen them try 9 times on a card just for and have it work. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So the other thing is ChurnBuster, or a related, we call it a dunning approach, where and ChurnBuster, another thing good about Stripe, not getting paid by Stripe here, but you can tie ChurnBuster into Stripe subscriptions, just like that. And so when Stripe finally gives up, then ChurnBuster kicks out an email series. I think it's 9. They have 9 pre-written emails. You just edit them for your brand. And then over 30 days, these emails go out. There's a link to update your credit card. It's on your own domain. And it works. I mean, it's just amazing. And it costs a little bit of money. And if you are interested in this, if you're listening to this, we do have a relationship with these guys if you want to break on the price. Again, we don't make any money on it. They're just great. We actually use them. So that's kind of the easy, sort of the easy win is, moving into Stripe subscriptions, if you're not, wouldn't be easy, but setting up something like a ChurnBuster or other service would be free money. Is that the right word?
That's it. Yeah. You said free money on the podcast. We need a disclaimer. Yeah.
Right. Don't take this out of context now. Come on. Okay. All right. So, next one. Next one is when somebody actually tries to cancel. So I don't know if you're an Audible subscriber, but I subscribe to Audible. Audible's got it down. Like it's an Amazon company. Like they know how to keep your money. Like it's just amazing, right? So you go, I can't. I've got 3 books. I'm backlogged. I need to cancel. You go to cancel, and it's like, do you want to just cut your book credit in half each month? Do you want to do you want to pause for 3 months? Do you want do you want a discount? Like and it works. Like they've totally gotten me. Like pause on. I've done it all. I've done the 3 months. I've done the 1 book a month instead of 2 books a month. I've done it all.
Right.
Occasionally I'll cancel and then I'll come back, which is a thing, obviously, with the whole streaming world today. But that's it's a point in the flow that is actually very important. And as just a quick example on how we do it. So I'm logged in as a subscriber here. I'm just going to go here to the account page. I'm going to go down and say, hey, I want to cancel. It's like, hey, are you sure you want to cancel? And it's like, oh, too expensive, right? And then, we'll hit continue. And it's like, oh, wait a second. Oh, I can do 30% off, right? Like, oh, that's tempting. And so guess what happens? So it works. Like we have seen, we're looking at TJourney. We've seen TJourney save subscriptions this way. And then we send this data into Insights, and so you can kind of see what the effectiveness is, and then you can change your promotion and your messaging and all that. So it's cool.
Yeah. And quick tip: if you do this for any of your streaming services that you are currently subscribed to, you're likely to see a massive discount. So go to them now, cancel it, attempt to cancel it, and you're going to get these like ginormous discounts for X period of time. So
Right. Yeah. I think I need to start doing that.
Yeah. And it's like almost every platform does it because they know, like based on what we've just talked about throughout this podcast, is that customer acquisition is really, really like
hard.
difficult. Yeah. It's expensive. And so they don't want to lose you. And so offering you anything, even if it's, a major discount, is better than losing you altogether.
Right. The other hack I've heard is the VPN thing. So if you set your VPN to be like in a lower price level country.
Oh, interesting.
Right. I don't know pick a country.
Right.
And then you come in, you get different pricing coming from Africa, somewhere in there. It's anyway, crazy. Okay. And by the way, the other thing too is even like when I just showed you cancel, like even if you don't get the retention, you should have there's a survey that pops up after the actual cancel. I wasn't going to cancel this, but there's a survey, and that survey information people do fill out, and it's a wealth of information, and that will help you save future cancels by maybe there's a gold nugget in there. Somebody says something about I don't know. I had trouble logging in or whatever it is, right? And you'd be like, oh, okay, well, we should look at that. Which brings me to my next point. So number 5 is newsletter friction. And this is something that we're pretty proud of. Tyler, you and I have sort of co-produced this. And that's the automatic login for our Flowletter product, which is tied to your Newsletter Glue product. Yeah. And essentially what it does is if somebody gets a newsletter, right, from one of our publishers that's using Flowletter and they click a link to the article, is they just get automatically logged in on the website.
Right. Yeah.
And it is amazing how like when we would hear from publishers like, oh, log in this and log in that. And we'd ask, what kind of login, how many tickets do you get for login? And some publishers aren't horrible. Some publishers are just, I don't know what it is, the space that they're in, just have a lot of trouble with ticketing. And then you turn it on and it's like, boom, nobody has a problem.
Silence.
So it's great. And the best part about it is it will reduce churn because now you have a reader that can actually get to all your content without having to do anything. They just click the link.
Yeah. You talk about like upset paid subscribers that just can't log in. Like, talk about a quick way to churn when they do get logged in. So yeah, and not to mention the free people, the free subscribers, being able to click any article in the newsletter, come back to your site and see upgrade messaging for their account in whatever meter, whatever part of their journey that they're in. And which would otherwise they're likely not going to log in because they don't even remember signing up. So it's very important for everything. So,
and I mean, I'm glad you mentioned free registration, because if you've been listening to us, you'll hopefully have a registration wall set up. And if you don't have it and you're running WordPress, go get List Builder for free. It's on our website. In fact, go to the homepage. There's a button right there for it. And just turn on the registration wall, and you'll see your email list grow 2 to 7x, which is part of the study that we went through last few months. Because what you're doing is you're trading content for an email, and you're requiring it. It's not an opt-in. You can't close it. You have to put in an email address. You get highly engaged readers that come in that way, and it builds lists really quickly. Like, we look at the charts in the back of our publications, and as soon as they turn on free registration, and maybe giving away one article, which is ideal, and then you have to register to get the next one or two or whatever. It's like a hockey stick of email list growth. So it makes logging in for those free people pretty important. You know what I mean? Because it's like, if I'm free registered, like, that's great, but now I got to log in. If I'm a paid subscriber, I know there's login friction. Like, I paid, I need to log in. It's special. Like, but if I'm free, it's like, oh, well, I'm just getting limited access and now I got to log in. So it's like the friction mindset is higher there.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
It's too much effort for little reward.
Right. So anyway, that's been a pretty important move for our publishers anyway. Okay. Last one is number 6 here. These are kind of like pricing levers for churn. So a lot of publishers will ask me, like, should I do monthly and annual subscriptions, right? Or should I do annual only? And there's no right answer for that. We do have publishers that do annual only. They're just confident. They know that the annual plan is worth it. I'd say that's probably the move for most publishers, but monthly plans are good for kind of trying out a subscription. And if I don't know, Tyler, what would you say across local news? How does it split 50-50 monthly, annual, or was one way more than the other? Do you have any?
I think yearly is more popular.
Okay.
It might be 60-40 in that way.
Okay. So the thing about the monthlies is they're renewing every month. So you're essentially, you may be sending them a receipt every month. And basically, you're sending them a piece of friction every month, saying, "Hey, we're charging your card." Next month, "Hey, we're charging your card." Right. Whereas the annual is one friction point, right? It's one pain point, and you get that person for the year. You get them hooked in for the long ride. They get a chance to experience your publication, all the content for an entire year. A lot of advantages for that. And then the emails that you're sending out is the value. It's really your product, and it's reminding the reader of all the great stuff that they need to read to, for you to make their lives better. Anyway, so think about actually promoting discounted annual plans to your monthly readers. So if you have a monthly reader, just send all your monthlies a campaign with a 10 or 20% discount off the 10 months for the price is 10 months pricing for the year instead of the 12 months for the monthly, and give them a nice break and get people to convert, and you'll find your churn goes down.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. The other thing too, and this kind of has a little bit to do with what we talked about earlier in terms of canceling, is you can give you can give reader a choice of levels. You might not promote all the levels, but you can do like good, better, best pricing. So if somebody let's say you have an ad-free plan with your subscription or something like that, you could offer them maybe a slightly lower price, but with ads, right? As like a downgrade path. Or maybe if you're doing commenting for paid subscriptions, or you have events, some sort of event discounts or benefits, you can, say, hey, just downgrade to this plan, and it's like just digital only access, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
And it's not advertised. You're not putting it anywhere on your site, but you do have it in your pocket to offer.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think that covers the 6 points. I think for me, the most important thing, and maybe you agree with this, is getting that newsletter going, 3 or more times a week, like getting your product into the mailbox. And I'd say tied in with that, create a drip campaign, something that onboards your readers. If you're niche, put a package together. If you're in the news, like local news space or regional news, then put your drip campaign is about the mission and the columns, like the departments that you have, and sort of the deep dives in each column. And then turn on ChurnBuster. Turn on something that automates the chase of the failed credit card, and we are adding that to our insights soon. But these are the things. There's a lot here you can look at, but the weekly newsletter, I think, I don't know if you agree, or the multi times per week newsletter seems to solve most of the pain, not only for churn, but for growth, traffic growth.
Definitely. And it's something that a lot of publishers are frightened by because they see it as a lot of work. I have to make multiple newsletters, and there's just a lot of time there. But the truth is, those things can be automated, as you publish content. So you're never really having to think much about the newsletter. Just publish your content, set up the schedule, and let it do its thing automatically for you. Don't feel the pressure to go in and create this big, huge piece, which is how publishers tend to see it. They see it as like an extension of, for local news publishers, they see it as like another newspaper they have to make. So,
right.
Don't fall into that idea. You can automate this and let it work for you automatically. So,
you couldn't have said it better. That was the automation is killer. You could forget about it. Yeah. And with with Flowletter and Newsletter Glue, you can make a beautiful automation, much better than like an RSS style automated newsletter.
Yeah, for sure.
So, all right, Tyler. Thanks, man.
Yep.
Good stuff. Catch you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Paywall Podcast. If you'd like to get in touch to discuss subscription strategy, go to leakypaywall.com. See you next time.